Cancer is the world's biggest killer. It has been so for the last 6 or 7 years. It's bigger than malaria, TB and HIV combined 3 times over. If we're to wait 5 years to decide whether we use biosimilars, we will cause a crisis in affordable care that will have very great consequences. If through biosimilars and under competitive market, we could save just 10% off the UK biologics drug bill, we would have £400 million. Now, £400 million is more than enough to have funded the Cancer Drugs Fund forever. Biologic drugs are what we call targeted therapy. What they do for us is they give us more effect and less toxicity. No biologic drug remains identical over time. They're different batch by batch. And over time, sometimes the important chemical characteristics, the so-called critical attributes of the drug, can change over time. As drugs get more popular and the amount that we need each month goes up, often new production facilities are opened. And each of those is called a manufacturing change. It brings about a new version of an established drug, and we have to trust as doctors that it works with no clinically meaningful differences. So biosimilars are a new version of an established drug. Being a new version, it has to show that it has no clinically meaningful differences to the one that's been there before. When we want to make a new version of a drug, we want to know how same it is, how similar. The cue's in the word biosimilar. This is a test of sameness. And what the regulators tell us is that the best way to discover whether version A or version B of a drug is different is analytics. The first generation biosimilar drugs came out with a requirement for something called a post-authorization safety study, a PASS, a PASS study. Now, we know as the clinicians, we know that as a phase 4 study. It says when the drug is licensed, does it really behave in big numbers in the real world in the same way as the original drug? Every single PASS study of the first generation biosimilar drugs met their objectives. That's important to us. It tells us that the European regulatory pathway is robust enough to deliver drugs based on analytic similarity that perform well in the real world. The Chief Education Officer for biosimilars at the American Food and Drugs Administration has publicly said that clinical trials are the most blunt tool we have. And it's a shock for me. I mean, some of you watching this may have read Cochrane reports where I've put together multiple randomized trials. And I want to tell you that we still believe in randomized trials to show differences, but we have to learn from the regulators that this is not fit for purpose to discover analytic differences and the sameness of biosimilar drugs. But that's a culture difference we're going to have to learn to overcome if we're to help patients with affordable care. We have such a part to play in making innovation affordable through the works we do in our hospitals. If we trust in the WHO pathway that's proved so successful for a decade, then the dream of affordable care for essential drugs will come true.